Hare Krishna devotees. So all are ready for the Ashtanga Yoga, or the, everyone was very curious to know about yoga. Yesterday, a few of you all wanted to learn the yoga practice. So let's continue our journey. This is the 6th chapter, which will be the last chapter in the module 1. So Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 parts. The first 6th chapter, we learned something. What is it we learned? I am not the body, I am the soul, right? So that is what we learned. So this is the confidential knowledge. So let's actually see the end of the confidential knowledge. Before that, let us start off with Mangala Charna. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Devaya. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadhatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpada Rupyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we will see what we have been waiting for. So why does this chapter come in place? So what happens in chapter 5? Arjuna starts with a question, right? He's asking Krishna, you tell me what is important, is what is better of the two? What are the two options? One is renunciation of the work or working in Krishna conscience, right? So what does Krishna tell them? Both are good because ultimately both are aiming at coming to me. But the easier of that is, working in devotion. So working in devotion we saw in chapter 5. So what is the difficult one according to Krishna? Difficult one according to Krishna is Ashtanga Yoga. But there will be some of us who will tell that no, I would like to know the difficult one because I should be choosing it, right? Someone should not tell me what I should choose. So let me first see and understand. So for one set of us, Krishna is actually trying to tell what Ashtanga Yoga is. And he's also explaining to Arjuna because Arjuna should not be left out, right? He should not be like, Krishna gave me only one option. And you all know the road not taken is always the best road, right? So he doesn't want to give scope for that. So he just wants to explain both the roads and leave the decision to us as to which will be the best road. So as I say, always, I would like someone to raise the hand so that you all can read the text part of it from the screen when I say Hare Krishna. So can I have someone reading it? Hare Krishna. So you can raise your hand and so that digital hand so that I can unmute you. Thank you, devotee Radha Iyer. So I'm going to the co-host, so it's easy for you to unmute. So let's.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is chapter 6. So what is yoga? So before the reading starts, so we'll see this is one type of yoga. So this is the peculiar yoga. I'm showing you various options because for all who wanted to do yoga, you should know what yoga is and which one suits you. So would you like this? And burying the head is one more type of yoga. See, One more. This way. Is this yoga? This is a beer yoga, and you do yoga and keep sipping beer. I'm very amazed to see this yoga because I really don't know how you can have a bottle of beer during any workout session. Because even when you're actually fighting or doing a great martial arts, they tell not to have more than half a sip of water. So you see people who are big sports people and all, they will just have a very small sip so that they don't get otherwise choked. So this is something which is not even not able to understand. This is very nice, no? So if this is yoga, then my daughter does yoga every day. I'll tell you how, because every time when she's sitting before the laptop, I have a cat and the cat also sits right behind her almost every day. So I don't know who's studying, but if this is yoga, then I would say that she does yoga every day. So this is a magazine, and can someone see the picture on the left side top? So can someone tell me who is this person? Is it out of syllabus? Can someone tell me who is this person here? Can you see? You can unmute yourself.
Mataji, can you repeat your question?
Can you see this picture on the top left hand side?
Yes, Mataji.
Person who's doing some kind of tapas and he's almost buried in the, in the ant pit, right? So who is he?
Hare Krishna Mataji, is it Valmiki?
No, Valmiki is a thief. Sorry. He's Hiranyakashipu. You know who's Hiranyakashipu?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Prahlad's father. So he did all austerities and he prayed to Lord Brahma. And these austerities are never written or heard before. And for hundreds of years, he stayed so much that you can see that ant, has built its own house over there. And seeing his austerity, and there is so much of heat, and it started literally growing into flames. And to give a solution to this problem, from Brahmaloka, Brahma comes and gives a benediction. What is the benediction? He said, I want to be immortal. I won't die. But he says that's not possible because anyone born in the Bhuloka has to die, right? There is no way, it's nothing called eternal. Why? Because Brahma can't offer that benediction, because he himself is in one of the 14 planets and there is life, death, mrityu, jara, everything is there for him. So there is no scope of that. So after the benediction, you all know what happened, right? Hiranyakashipu story, Prahlad story, and all, you all are experts. So what happens next, right? Yoga is for physical and mental health, then yoga for pregnancy, and yoga in the chair, that's one latest model yoga. Yoga care for the back, office yoga, all that, right? So I also organized an office yoga, for 2 weeks. So actually, what's Ashtanga yoga? Let's see. Ashta means 8, that you all will know. Anga means Angam, right? Anga means limb. Yoga means connection. So yoga technically means connection with God. And here we know God is Krishna. So it starts with a lot of this, which is called Yama, Niyama, Ashta, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. So let's see what actually happens. Yama and Niyama is omitted. We start only with asana. So anyone here who knows yoga or who's learning yoga, you start with asana, right? You do not do the other two. So what's happening, we'll see. So pranayama is our all-time favorite, right? You talk about breathing exercise and all. So let's read what each one of it are, right? And then we'll explain. So Yama is talking about external discipline. So what is external discipline? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sorry. Okay. Yama. Yes, Yama. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind.
Okay, so Yama starts first with controlling. What is it? First set is he should first go and stay in a secluded place, right? And he should first keep his mind completely under control. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The niyama, is it niyama?
That's right. Perfect. Niyama.
Mataji?
Yes.
Niyama. Niyama is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation.
Okay, so the same thing will come in your next advanced class, wherein you read Nectar of Instruction. The first shloka says, Vacha Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jigva Vegam, Utaro Prashta Vegam, Etan Vegan, Vishayesa Punchah, Sarvam Apiman. So, what is it he's trying to tell? Coming back to the content, you know, extensive 6 urges have to be controlled, which means urge of tongue, urge of mind, right? Urge of your belly, urge of genitals, and all this, right? Your mind, where you know your anger and all that is controlled. So niyama is first temperate, means you moderate all these habits in terms of your eating, and sleeping has to be 6 hours, whereas you know some of us enjoy endless sleeping, working, recreation, everything has to be regulated. In fact, not even regulated, has to be moderated. You know, they have a specific thing to do. So that is what is niyama. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Asana. Lay kusa grass on the ground and then cover it with the deer skin. The seat should neither be too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. One should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very beautifully read. Thank you. So now anybody in biology have to tell me deer skin. Why deer skin? Right? You can take a blanket bedsheet. Now, okay, your chat is open, so you can type and tell me why deer skin. Meanwhile, I'll explain the other part. So one is kusha glass, and next thing is, you know, your body has to be straight, which means first we have to correct our sitting posture, right? Head has to be right. It should be in a straight line, and you should stare at the tip of the nose, right? I think if I do for 10 more seconds, I'll get a headache. So we leave people who want to do Ashtanga or Dhyana Yoga. I'm not going to do this. So I'm leaving this to all those who want to try this out. So meanwhile, let me just check the chat as to why deer skin. This is interesting, right? Why are they talking about deer skin? Anybody, any biology student can, okay, not many. So let me answer this question. Deer skin has propensities and qualities which can actually be a repellent. Against what? Against snake and scorpions. See, we already said, you know, he will go to a secluded place and he's going to close his eyes. So he has to be completely focused on his meditation. So he will not have any time to think of any person, thing. At the same time, he can't be watchful. Who's coming, who's biting, no idea, no time, right? So he has to be protected. So this deer skin will be acting as a natural repellent against all these, you know, snakes and Scorpios and all that. So that is the benefit of the deer skin. So get ready, all those who want to do Ashtanga Yoga. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pranayama. Practice stopping the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus certain in trance, 100% in trance. Is that it? I can't read it.
No, that's fine. So what are they talking about? Pranayama, you don't need to see the definition. You all know what you do. It's about breath control, right? So it's everything to do with breath. So let's move to the next one. Pratyahara.
Okay. Pratyahara. Hare Krishna. Pratyahara. Cessation of material existence.
And coming back to pranayama, there is one point why people focus on pranayama is that your lifespan is not dependent on the number of years you live. It is actually the years or life is calculated based on the number of breaths you take. So, you know, that is why they say, oh, the more you get angry and the more your lifespan reduces is genuine, because when you're angry or agitated, what happens? You tend to breathe hard, right? So that means you're reducing the number of your lifespan because you're trying to take more breath. So if you get worried, you may not show it out, but if you get worried also, your breath pattern changes, which is why, you know, that is very important. So here, pratyahara means you're ceasing all your material desires, right? Everything, right? From TV, food, taste, everything you're finishing. You're like putting a full stop to it. Hare Krishna. We'll move to Dharana in 6.
Hare Krishna. Dharana disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence. Devoid of all material desires, he is said to have attained yoga. Hare Krishna.
So what does he do? He disciplines his mental activities, right? And he's in the trance. Transcendence means a typical trance, right? And completely away from all the mental desires, right? Mental why is telling, you remember Krishna was talking about, initially he was talking about pretender, Mityachara, right? In the third chapter, he was saying anybody who does this is a pretender. So here, how can one be genuine? It is basically by completely not even thinking of any of the desire. What is the point in going to a forest, doing all in the name of meditation, closing your eye and thinking of all vices? It's not going to help, right? So that is why Krishna is highlighting this. Hare Krishna. Now we move to Dhyana, 6.19.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dhyana. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist, whose mind is controlled, remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self.
Basically, Dhyana. So
Hare
me,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This is like the lamp where there is no wind, right? When there's no wind, what happens? The lamp, the light, the flame just stays without a shake, right? Same with the mind, and all of us who've started doing japasi, by the time we finished, forget one mala, 3 beats gone, then by then from India, I don't know which part of the world I'm, right? To identify where I am, I will take another 3-4 names by then, japas. So what happens is mind is something which is so difficult to control. And that is something not told by him when Krishna is talking to Arjuna, so powerful, he says, boss, Krishna, I can control anything. What I can't control is a mind, because mind is so difficult to control. Even the wind I can control, but mind I cannot control. So he is telling that way. Hare Krishna. Samadhi, 6.22.
23. Hare Krishna. Samadhi. One is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is freedom from all miseries and from, sorry, I cannot read because there is the ISKCON
Okay.
I cannot.
No problem. Freedom, okay. Arise freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. Okay.
Oh.
Is he telling Samadhi is a final situation, right? So you are never shaken. Very strong, right? So Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi is like a package. It's various stages of advancement. And you are having absolute freedom. You do not have pain. Why? Because you don't feel anything. See, when do you feel the pain? When somebody in the road shouts at you, you will feel the pain, but it will be for a second, right? When your parents shout at you, then you feel, but then you can manage, it's hurting. When friends tell, it hurts. But when your spouse tells something, it hovers your head, right? Do you see that, or is it only for me? Do I have company in this group? Or is it that it happens only to me and y'all are all absolutely free? You do not have any impact if anybody shouts at you. Hare Krishna, yes or no on the chat box? Yeah, okay, thanks. So what is happening here is, so that is because of the fact that, thank you so much, Abhishek Gupta, Prabhu. So what is happening is all this, right? So it does have an impact, right? Why is all this, Mataji, they are talking about is because of the fact that we are having this emotional feeling, right, in the body. Suppose you just don't have anything which is affecting you, then you become completely free from all miseries and the material context. So that is your speciality, right? You're willing to do this kind of a yoga system. Do you want to give it a try? How many of you all want to give it a try? Yesterday, you all were telling you all want to do yoga. I would like to know still if there are people after knowing what yoga is who wants to. Kirti, okay, Kirti, yes, you want to do, fine. So let's see whoever. So Kirti, you're willing to go to a forest, abandon everything.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I feel that you are talking about Ashtanga yoga in a very extreme sense, the one based on the few shlokas in the chapter 6 of Dhyana Yoga. But when you started with the Ashtanga yoga, 8 limbs of yoga which were given by the Maharshi Patanjali, he doesn't go to this extreme, right? If you really want to be in Samadhi, you have to do this. But when you talk about Yama and Niyama, we should also read the 8 limbs of yoga, because I've been practicing yoga for many, many years now. Yes. I do meditation every morning, and it has brought so much change in me. Now I am not going to leave my family and go to the Samadhi to achieve meditation peace, but with moderation we can achieve the benefits of Dhyana yoga, at home in our life as well. So based on my experience of so many years, I believe that we should not, completely negativize the Ashtanga yoga. It should be done in a moderation in a family life. It is really, really helpful.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the insight. I'm so glad you shared this with me and the team here. So basically what you use the word moderation, right? So the moment you start using moderation, then what are we actually doing? Then we are modifying our life. So that means we are going from not this dhyan. The dhyan is not what I am telling. The dhyana yoga or the Ashtanga yoga is what Krishna has told. So I am giving the information in this group as it is, right? So I'm just the, what should I tell, a mouth speaker or speaker, whatever you call it. So whatever is given by Krishna is actually not given in detail. Can you see in 18th chapter, the Ashtanga yoga or Dhyana yoga is just one chapter. In fact, I was asking my guru, why is this chapter so elaborate? You know, it is so detailedly given. He said, no, it is not in detail. It's actually given in a very abridged version, and he will give the version. Now, any modification in this version is modifying what Krishna is telling. And do we have the right to modify the version of what Krishna is giving? The answer I don't have. You all will know the answer, right? So what he is telling is, you have A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So it's like, you know, let's say somebody says you take a meal 3 times a day, it's healthy. If someone tells, no, you know, today they modify, right? No, we not take 3 times a meal, 2 times a meal. That's a different practice, right? You are modifying something. So what are we trying to do here? We are trying to bring in these qualities. I will come back to you on the benefits of yoga because that's going to be highlighted. And for that, you'll have to wait till the end of the session. So here we are not telling yoga is not beneficial, but what we are trying to tell is yoga actually in the real form of yoga is different. Yoga means connecting one with the God. That is the actual meaning. But the yoga practice which is followed here, for example, I work out. I also work out 1 hour. I also do yoga, but that's the way we call that yoga is actually an exercise. We call it as yoga, which is very different from the actual practices of yogas which are written in Shastras. And what are Shastras? These are books written by Krishna as it is and has to be firmly followed, right? So these are words as it is told by Krishna, and we are talking to each other the words of Krishna, right? So we are not giving our opinion, right? Because all of us here, each of us will have a different opinion. So a room of 100, each of us will have a different opinion. Someone will tell this is best, someone will tell that is better. And you ask my friend, she will tell, no, I'm a martial artist. If you are fit in martial arts, that's best, that will take care. Another person will tell, no, sports is the best sport, right? So this is excellent. You pray for 1 hour, nothing to beat that, right? So where are we talking about? We will talk about what Krishna is telling, because ultimately, Krishna is far more knowledgeable than all of us. And let's hear what Krishna has to say. So let's hold on for a while and hear what he's saying. Before what Krishna says, let's have a background of who Arjuna is. So I already told you all, Arjuna has a very unique speciality. Why did he get this speciality is, we go back. Now, there are lots of mothers. Is there any mother in the group who first eats and makes sure that her stomach is full and then thinks of her child? Is there any mother you know of? Maybe an exception, but does normally a mother eat completely whatever food is there, will she finish off and then think of whatever is remaining for the child? Do we have such mothers in this group? Yes, no?
No.
No, thank you so much. Right? Why? Because she wouldn't mind even taking half the belly, but then she wants her child to be stomach full, right? And the stomach can be extra stomach also. We will tell, have little more, right? Why is all this happening? Right? So let's go back to Arjuna's talent and why this happened. Now, there was something exceptional which was happening is Bhima, is like, he always used to occupy the kitchen. Was he concerned about kitchen? No, he was concerned about the food. And, I always had, my sister-in-law used to tell that she loves cooking. And she said, anyone who loves food will enjoy cooking. Okay, so this is what she said. So if there are great cooks here, probably you can relate more to this. And what happened is, one day, usually Kunti Maharani, she used to give food for all her children, and she'll also eat a little and then only leave it for Bhima, because the moment Bhima eats, there is no food left for anybody there. That used to happen. And, this was when all of them were small kids and they had just entered the food was just getting cooked, and the power, those days power does not mean like generator, electricity and all. When there is a blow of wind, just like what's happening in Chennai for us, everything goes off and it takes a few seconds to light the lamp again. So that happened during the, when they were about to eat their meal, and when they lighted the lamp, which probably would have been few seconds and less than a minute, what happened is food was all gone. Oh my God, and everybody were looking at Bhima because they all know Bhima is the culprit. And in the process, Arjuna just runs to his Muni. Who is Arjuna's teacher? Anybody knows who is Arjuna's teacher and who is this elderly person who's sitting next to Arjuna? Any names?
Dronacharya.
So Drona is his name, Acharya is teacher, Dronacharya. So what is happening? He runs, and look at the difference between Arjuna and us, right? Immediately we are all in the mood of jumping and finding fault because we will tell, Bhima ate off the food, I don't have energy to fight, right? This will be the first thought for a small child. But you know what Arjuna says, I am so shocked how within that second Bhima is able to eat so much food. Something about it should be so talented that he is able to do. It's the biggest wonder. And how is it possible? And Dronacharya tells him, to Arjuna, Arjuna, that's because Bhima loves food. And if you are so crazy of something, and if your mind is so focused about something so much, you can actually do things in a second. You will be able to achieve. So Arjuna says, oh yes, then, bow and arrow is my favorite. So he says that if you really are so keen, you will be able to win the world. That is his first level of motivation which he gets. But can you see, as a child, ideally, what would have we done as a child? He ate up everything, what can I do? Mama didn't keep for me, I'm hungry. How can he do? Right? This is called the area of focus, where his concentration, even at that age, sees the plus point, and he is a constant learner from the do's and the don'ts. So this is Arjuna, and what is he doing? You all know that it's the bird eye which he's trying to catch and hit. So the next one, you all know this one during the wedding ceremony, right? So what was the story about the wedding ceremony? Can someone tell me, whoever knows what happened? What was it he was supposed to do? You all can unmute and one can quickly tell the story. Yeah, Kirti, go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Arjun was supposed, anyone has to target the eye of the fish by looking at its reflection in the water at the bottom. So that's how it was. So it has to be perfect aim from the reflection, not from the direct fish.
Perfect. So there's a fish right there, and he can't see the fish directly, and he has to see a mirror image, which is a reflection in the water, and shoot off, which he did, right? So, and then he has already had training for being in Gurukul and all that. So he knows, it's not that it's new for him. He's already tried, and he has been there. You know about all the Vanavas and all which he had gone through. So this picture, can anyone guess what is this picture about? Okay, can you at least guess
who's this? Parshuramji?
Sorry?
Is this Parshuramji? No.
Close, no. But not close.
Because
one more guess, you should be able to get it.
Is it Shiva?
Bhagwan Shiva with the Arjun when he was
Shiva and yes,
tapasya,
yes.
When he was doing his tapasya.
On the floor is the one who's flying is Shiva.
Yes.
Shiva.
Yeah, he was so vigorously fighting and courageously fighting that Shiva himself was pleased by Arjuna. So can you believe somebody like Arjuna was pleased by, the Devata, right? So that is the specialty. Hare Krishna. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavadritham tasyaham nigraham manye vayuriva sudashkaram. What does it mean, Hare Krishna? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. For the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Kaniya, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This is Krishna's conversation, right? And Arjuna is replying after hearing from Ashtanga Yoga. He's telling, oh Krishna, I can go ahead and control the wind, but I can't control my mind. It is his view, right? He's telling, and he has all right to voice his opinion, right? Just like what we want to do. So immediately he's telling that I have all right and I just can't control the mind at all. Please, forgive me. I just can't do this. So, this seems to be very difficult. This is what Arjuna is telling after hearing. Now you have to remember 2 points, very strong points of Arjuna. Arjuna is also called Gudakesha, which means controller of sleep. He can actually control his sleep, 24 hours at one shot. That is one specialty, which indirectly means ignorance, but broadly he can control. And he is also called Savyasachi. It means that both the hands he can actually fight, he can do, You can fight with both his hands he can do. You also will know some of them who can write in both hands. I can't do one. I can do only with one hand properly. I can't even scribble properly in both hands. So he is definitely much higher than us. Do you all have a disconnect in that? Or, am I the only one? Anyone feels here that you are better than Arjuna in this group? I mean, you can tell, it's your personal opinion. So I'm not going to judge you. So all I'm asking is there anyone in the group who feels that you're better than Arjuna in any way? No, thank you, devotee Jai Shri Kannan. No way, okay. I like that face. Great. So I'm glad. So we are not competing, right? So he's not competing with us. So what you're telling is he is one notch higher than Arjuna, than any one of us. And he is telling I can even control the wind, but I can't control my mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The blessed Lord said, "O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by constant practice and by detachment. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work, but he whose mind is controlled and who strives by right means is assured of success."
Hare Krishna. I think this page, please all of you take a screenshot as you are doing and just WhatsApp your spouse. You know why? Because this is such a beautiful statement. Can you see what it says? He's telling mighty armed, right? It is undoubtedly difficult. He is not giving false hope. He's correctly telling, yes, Arjuna, whatever you're telling is correct. It is very difficult to curb the mind. But it is possible. He is not telling it's impossible by constant practice and by detachment. Can you see a strength of his statement here? He's accepting the fact it is difficult. Normally, what is the tendency people tell? Hare, you can't do it. It's so easy, huh? Do you hear this? I hear it very often. Do you hear it? Yes or no? Even in office, bosses, in the house, everywhere you hear it's so easy. You don't know this. Some so-called friends also do. Do you hear, or am I the only one here out of the box? Yeah, thank you so much, Kirti. So I'm glad, devotee Kirti, that you're on, we're all on one side. So you keep hearing this also, devotee Abhishek Prabhu. So what is happening, right? So he is very honestly telling, yes, Arjuna, it's difficult. But you should see, he doesn't say it's impossible, you can't do it. Otherwise, one is that dialogue, or the next dialogue is, hey, it's impossible, yeah, forget it, you can't do it. We hear this more often, right? Forget it, chodo, leave it there. You just can't do it, huh? But what is this difference? Look at Krishna, he's telling it is difficult, but it is possible, right? It is possible how? He's giving how also. He's telling it is doable. He acknowledges the fact it is difficult. He motivates by telling it's doable, and he's giving a solution how it is doable by constant practice and detachment, right? So he is giving the solution also. This is the greatness, right? Can you see any book ever in your life which tells the challenge, the solution, and the actual option A, option B? Very rarely you will have things, right? So that is the thing. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Is your mind a friend or an enemy? Now the chat is open, and please type in the chat so I will get all the answers. Is our mind a friend or an enemy? Your mind, you talk about your own mind. How you train it? Yes, we will come to that. Okay, Lakshmi Kannan says both. Dr. Geeta says both. Okay, since I spoke, okay, both. So let me start with Dr. Geeta. Can you please unmute yourself? Since all of you are telling, it depends on the situation. Okay, I want to ask you one question. Do all of you all have a best friend? Yes or no? Do you all have a best friend? Right? Is there any time, devotee Geeta, you can unmute yourself. So is there any time you have a friend before your breakfast who's your best friend, and after your lunch is your worst enemy? Any of you all have a situation where before your breakfast, this person is, suddenly you may fight with the person. I'm not talking about fight. Before breakfast, this person is a best friend. After lunch, this person has become my worst enemy. Oh my God. Oh, tomorrow again, before breakfast, best friend. After dinner, worst enemy. Do we have such friends? Because I don't have one. No, right? So why am I telling this is at one state, at one point in time, the person can be either your best friend or your worst enemy. So mind is also at one point, you should decide and tell me at this point whether the mind is a friend or an enemy. I would say at this point, your mind is a friend. That is why it has made all of you come to Bhagavad Gita and hear, right? This boring lecture which Radhika is giving and trying hard to, put in whatever possible, but she's telling only Krishna's version as it is. But still boring, 9:30, I can have my breakfast and have a good nap. Now it's what time? It's going to be 10 o'clock, right? Instead of all that, my mind is telling me to hear, right? So why is this? So let's see. So the answer is the mind which is not trained, and someone message trained, is an enemy. And currently, honestly, our mind is an enemy because we have not been able to train it. When will it become a friend? When we are able to completely have control over the mind. The mind, as of now, pretends to be a friend. We all will be hearing so-called friend, right? I'll tell you. A situation when you tell a friend you want to learn Bhagavad Gita, she'll tell, okay. Somebody who's your enemy will tell, oh, really? You want to learn Bhagavad Gita? So nice, lovely, good. Then after 3-4 days, you tell something. I personally feel, this is not the right thing to do. She will be like a friend, very sweetly talking, and she will chip you on your throat. Any experiences of that? Like backstabbing we tell, right? Who pretends to be a friend, who's more riskier, like how he said, Pratyahara, is more dangerous, right? So you will have somebody like that, the so-called friend. Currently, our mind is either an enemy or a so-called friend who's pretending to be a friend. So to be really a friend, we have to take control and train the mind. How to do? So let's see, they say in 6.6. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be the greatest enemy. Hare Krishna.
So he is very clearly told, for them who has conquered. So again, now Krishna, gives a solution. Arjuna gets confused. What is the confusion? 6.37, Arjuna says, so Krishna, what is the destination of someone who falls in achieving the success in yoga? Now somebody is trying Ashtanga yoga, somebody is doing Bhakti yoga. Now forget about it. Overall, somebody is doing yoga. And here I told yoga, we are talking about connecting to Krishna. So when we are going to connect to Krishna, what will happen if someone fails? So the two mantras, slokas, 4.1, 4.2, what do they say? They talk about something called Suchiman Shrimatam. Shrimatam means well-educated, financially settled family, right? Shriman, you say, right? Comfortable family. So that is one. And typically Kshatriyas and Vaishyavas will come under the category. And who are they? They are financially generally sound, right? And Suchiman means somebody who is in the transcendental family, like transcendentalists. Example, Prabhupada's father was also in a Brahmin family, and he had chance right from ever since he was born. He had a lot of scope of all this God-related activities, right? So that is where you are born. What is the advantage? If you're born in these kind of families, two things. One is you don't run for food. You get a good food and at your doorstep, right? So you're at luxury. So you, like how all of you all have a chance of sitting and listening to Bhagavad Gita, you have scope of doing it. Whereas if you are not in any of this two category, technically you will be running out in the road and probably doing some job to run your basic living. You may all tell we are all working for living. Correct. But even if you don't work, we'll be able to manage. But the actual working for living are those who feel that if I don't work this hard, I don't get my next meal. That is a definition for working for my next meal, right? Thankfully, we are not in that position, right? Most of us are not. So what does Krishna answer? He's telling that if by anyone fail, for example, you give all your material life and you practice yoga, you're not able to take it to its logical conclusion and you're able to do only, let's say, 50%. So what happens in your next birth, you will be born in one of these families, which is what 6.41 and 4.2 are talking, which she will read now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. After, what is the destination of someone who fails in achieving success in yoga? 6.41, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. 6.42, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Verily, such a birth is rare in this world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Who is the greatest yogi? So Narada is actually going in this concept to understand who's the greatest yogi. One day when I have time, I will tell the story. But now we'll move on to the various yogas we saw, right? We saw Karma Yoga in chapter 2 and Jnana Yoga also in chapter 2, which said that I'm not the body. So let's understand each one of them, right? Karma Yoga is working in Krishna consciousness. Krishna himself says that's better off. Now Jnana Yoga, are those who mentally speculate in understanding Krishna. Right? They want to understand Krishna, so they keep going on in a complete search. Ashtanga Yoga, we just did whole of it, Bhakti Yoga. So to all of you, which yoga is the best yoga, what they say, all these yogas are the various ranks in the ladder, right? Like the various sticks which are there in the ladder. And Bhakti Yoga is like the escalator. When somebody has Bhakti Yoga, all are inbuilt. right? Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, and Ashtanga yoga are all inbuilt. So we also have an expertise here on yoga, Ashtanga yoga. So when we do Bhakti yoga, that is when you're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One shot when we tell, we hold the breath. Though the idea of doing chanting is not necessarily, pranayama, because we are focusing on feeding the soul, right? But whereas anything else, any exercise is more for our body. Entire yearly, whatever we are talking yoga here is not talking about the yoga systems practiced by a lot of people outside. They are talking about here is only about connecting to Krishna. So Bhakti yoga has an inbuilt concept of nothing but Ashtanga yoga. All these steps are already in it. Now let's go to Jnana yoga. All of you all are jnanis, right? You all are learning. The only difference is in Jnana yoga, they will be mentally speculating, right? What can be achieved. But whereas for you, when you're doing Bhakti yoga, you will automatically learn what to be done. So that is your knowledge of Jnana. And now what is the next thing? The next thing which you're doing is Karma yoga, right? Krishna conscious is not inertia, right? You are fully into action. You are not mutated. You're not stuck in one place. There's so much of action, right? You'll make prasad, you'll be cooking, you'll be cleaning the deities. There's so much action. So Bhakti yoga inculcates all three. So this is what is so important, right? In the yoga system. Hare Krishna. So you can go ahead and read, Ma, waiting.
Hare Krishna. And of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Hare Krishna.
There's some disturbance. So what is yoga? Spiritual practice. Sorry, I'm not able to mute. I have to come out of the presentation. Can some of us mute? Can some of the co-hosts, right?
Yeah.
Can you please mute? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I'm muting everybody. You're opening the option, Mataji. That is it. You're on mute, Mataji.
Yeah, because can you make me a co-host so that I can unmute? Yeah, thank you so much. So different yoga practices for different yugas, right? So what does it say? Kate yadhyayato vinaye tretva vayo makhau dvapare paricharyaya kalo taddariketana. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 12th canto 3rd chapter 52nd verse. What does it say? Various yugas have various yoga systems. So let's see the picture of that so you'll be clearer. Satya Yuga, what did they do? They were doing meditation on the Lord Vishnu. Treta Yuga, what did they do? They were talking about huge. See, meditation means not just the ordinary meditations which we talk about. Understand things as it is. Then only you'll be able to appreciate. Meditation means hundreds of years they will go on meditation because their lifespan was very high. Today we are talking about 10-15 minutes of meditation. So we cannot modify the current situation. Now what we are talking about in Treta Yuga is Treta Yuga talks about huge sacrifices, right? So all the sacrifices which we are doing is what is there in Treta Yuga. Example, the fire sacrifices and so many things. They used to give ghee, butter, lot of things used to go into the, for the sacrifices. So that is what is the specialty of Treta Yuga. Dwarpa Yuga talks about elaborate worship, right? Elaborate worship means temple worship, not the half-an-hour worship. So sorry. So that is what is in Dwarpa Yuga. And this temple worship is not the half an hour or 10 minutes we see. It is completely hours together. They will sit in the temple, starting from cleaning the temple. Minimum 15-16 hours in a day will be done. We can't do any of it right now. Going to a temple once a day itself seems to be a big challenge for us, right? So now what is the next thing? Kali Yuga talks about chanting holy names of the Lord, right? So now let's see the difference. If you want to go to the 30th floor, what would you take? Would you take the steps or would you take the escalator? Come answers now. You can unmute and tell. What would you prefer, lift or the escalator? Both you will reach the destination, but which would you prefer? Yeah, thank you so much for the message. Yes, we use a lift. That's the easier, faster method. So is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, everything leads to Krishna. But what is the point we want to do is we want to do Bhakti. That is what is, is faster. So what is mantra is man and tra is split into two, right? So what is man? Man means mind and tra means deliver. So mantra has to deliver you. So this is what is the point of it. What is the difference between a japa and a normally thing? Japa is something when you individually do and you talk and you hear, only you hear. It's like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. It's sufficient if I hear. What is Sankirtan? Sankirtan is something all of you together chant the name and sound vibration gives such a big impact. That is Sankirtan. All together. And what is the purpose of all these scriptural references? Though all of them talk about it, all of them actually culminate for the fact that we have to do chanting of the holy name of Krishna. So what does this say? Right? So we are talking about Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says in the age of Kali, people should simply chant the holy name. Right? So what does it say? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. And he also says all these Upanishads have details. What does it say? It says Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam, Kalo Nasti Eva Gatir Anyate. So he's telling in the name of Kali, in Kali Yuga, there is nothing, there is no other way except chanting the holy names. Also Bhagavad Gita 10.25 says Yajayna Japa Jainiyo Asmi. So what does it mean? Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name. So when you read 10th chapter, you will know he will tell the qualities. So he says, among the human, I am the women, the female quality. So like that one he will highlight, right? Among the Rudras, I am the Shiva. So he will highlight one great quality of each one of them. So in that he says of all the sacrifices, and you all saw sacrifices. Sacrifice means, don't get mixed up with the English word meaning sacrifice, right? Which means giving something. Here, sacrifice does not mean loss of something. It means doing something for the pleasure of Krishna. So please understand the context in which all these words are being used. Here, sacrifice means, our understanding of sacrifice is giving up something. Here, it means giving something for the pleasure of Krishna. So when we give up something, then you feel sad. But when you do something for Krishna, you get something more. Hare Krishna, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. My Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for the living entity, and therefore you have many names such as Kanya and Govinda. You have invested all your potencies in those names, and there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so this actually brings an end in terms of clarity of what it is. So you will know one specialty, right? Many people will tell, and I'm Telugu, so many Telugus can understand. If something is lost, we'll tell Govinda, right? For fun also we use. And somebody who is very angry, they'll tell Ayo Narayana, Narayana, it's like in a very angry mood. It's not like lovable. When you tell the name Krishna, the name and the form are not different. Example, Radhika. My name is Radhika. Okay, but my person Radhika is different, right? From my name, you can relate to me. But when you say Krishna, Krishna himself comes here. So each time when you are telling Krishna, Krishna is present here, right? So that is the specialty of Krishna, right? So let's go. Yesterday I briefed you all how to chant. So clearly this talks about the do's and don'ts. So let's start with the do's. First, you chant the Panchatattva mantra before you start it. What is it? Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So this is what is talking about the chanting. This is what is given in the groups also. And chant audible enough for you to hear. Don't tell Hare Krishna, that even I can't hear, right? You don't have to scream that you get a throat infection, but chant audibly so that you can hear. The normal mistake we do is, you don't talk like me, don't do that. Talk clearly, pronounce each name distinctively. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant with respect. and devotion, right? Just don't do multitasking. That will come up now. You can first, before that, we will do that, right now, which place you should chant. You can chant while sitting, standing, or walking, but do not actually chant sleeping. That's not possible. You'll be sleeping. And you can face any direction. There is no right side or wrong side. That is the speciality. Which time can you chant? You can chant anytime. Most preferred time is Brahma Muhurta, which is 3:30, but you can chant anytime during the day, afternoon, night. You can chant bumper offer before bath, after bath. It is recommended to keep on chanting. A mala has 108 beads, which I showed you yesterday. Now let's go to don'ts. Do not chant half the. What do you mean by half? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. This should be one beat completely. But our tendency will be Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, You go to the next beat. Don't do that. Please do one complete round in one. One should not chant on the Krishna bead of the Japamala. So this main thing which I showed yesterday is the Krishna bead. Please don't chant that because it's like Sakshi, right? Krishna is the proof. You should not go over him. Don't do multitasking. I know women are experts in multitasking. You all can read and do, watch TV and do, cook and do. Please don't do anything, right? Because you won't be able to concentrate. Now, what are the benefits of chanting? We always believe what is in it for us, right? So let's actually understand what the Shastras say. Freedom from the reactions of the sin. Now, is there anyone in the group who can tell me that from the time you are born till today, you have not done any sin? Do we have anyone? You can just tell yes, or you can type your name. Right? That you have not done a single sin. You're absolutely sin-free. Unknowingly also you have not done. Right? Good. So I don't have anyone. So I assume that all of us have done sins. So whether we did knowingly or unknowingly, just like fire, right? If a child goes and touches a fire, it will burn. Will it burn or not? Yes or no? It's not. So you're all muted. Okay, I can't unmute you all. Okay, thanks. Chat is active. Yes, so same way fire is going to bother you. Same way the fire doesn't differentiate. So with the law, right? When you drive in the road, if you tell, I am not aware of the rule here. Oh my God, I'm supposed to drive in the left. I thought we can drive whichever. I didn't know. Will the government tell, oh, you're so innocent. It's okay. You can, no problem. I'll let go. No, right? You're going to be penalized. So that is what is important. So all these sins are already in our account. So by chanting, it clears you. Some of us may have some bad habits associated. When here, though explicitly they have spoken about drinking and all that, there are also habits like anger, reaction, which we tell nectar of instruction, vacho vegam, right? Even a forum when you are supposed to speak only when you are asked, but the tendency we'll have, all of us especially, the first thing is we want to tell, we want to talk, we just can't be quiet, right? Something we want to give our opinion. This color, red color is amazing. Nobody would have even asked us immediately. Red is not good. Trust me, blue only is good. Actually, had you taken yellow, it will be nice. Do you feel this? Do you feel that you get a lot of free advice around you? Because I keep getting a lot of free advice. If you all also are with me, just go ahead and type yes. Right? So all this, thank you so much. Thanks, Abhishek Gupta. I'm getting a lot of answers here. So yeah. So what is happening? So this is what is happening. So relief from unwanted drives and all this anger and all. Maybe freedom from anxieties and stress. Mothers always have this. What happens to my child if I'm not there? 5 minutes. Suppose something happens to me. Do you all have that? Because I used to have this tremendous fear. And to the extent that when my daughter was 3 years, I used to think, who will be my backup if I die? Very funny. I don't know why I had this thought, but I always had this thought. Right? So mothers we are constantly, thank you so much, Kirti. I'm glad I'm not alone. Yes, all the time. Thank you so much, Mayasi. That kind of anxiety is always there and we are constantly in stress. Even if we are not in stress, people will make sure that we should go into that stress, right? Or they will tell, you're so stressed out, you're so stressed, they'll give us that stress. So we'll have peace of mind, real happiness, enlightenment. And what people can say chanting Hare Krishna, let's hear what they have, right? See, simply Radhika is telling is not enough, right? So let's hear from great people. George Harrison, what does he say? Please go ahead and read. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Everything started happening for me when I began chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So these are great people's realization.
Jean-Claude Hallis, youngest director of 3M Inc., France, 29-year-old. Chanting Hare Krishna has made a tremendous impact in my life. Hare Krishna. Albert Brush Ford. Owner, Ford Motors.
So he is someone who's a Ford Motors owner. So you can imagine the names which are coming up. He's not some Tom, Dick and Harry.
Yeah. I've been chanting Hare Krishna for many years and I've never found anything more pleasurable. Hare Krishna.
See, you can't recognize the face, but you know the name. ND Desai.
ND Desai, leading Indian industrialists. Apar Limited, GE, Apar Lighting, Seema Tubes, Apar Infotech.
G you would have known. General, yeah. So G, just so you know the name.
Chanting Hare Krishna has helped me face all the ups and downs in my life with a great confidence and peace of mind. Rishikesh Mafatlal, CEO, Mafatlal Fabrics.
I think everyone will know Mafatlal company. And
Yeah.
this young, pretty lady in the Vogue front page is the same person who's now on the right hand side with that sari, right? So what?
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Chanting helped me give up bad habits. It changed my vision of things.
She was a Dutch model.
Hare
So
Krishna.
Annie Schoffers.
Annie Schoffers. By starting to chant Hare Krishna, I feel tremendous happiness. Hare Krishna. Vicky Overton, leading European model. My outlook towards life is a lot more brighter after starting to associate with Hare Krishna devotees and chanting the Maha Mantra.
From his dress, I'm sure you can guess who he is.
Bruce Kleinberg, Army officer. Chanting makes me feel close to God. Wow. Hare Krishna. Marco Ferrini, Italy's top furniture designer. Maha Mantra significantly reduces stress, depression, and the mode of ignorance and considerably increases mode of goodness. Hare Krishna. David Wolf, Master of Social Service Program at Florida State University, researcher for studying the effects of chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. When I am stressed out, I chant. It's one thing which charges my batteries. It clears my mind and brings me back in focus.
And
Hare Krishna.
thank you so much. These people have been telling this, and when my Sicha Guru first told me, I never used to believe so much in this, and it took me some time to chant, and I used to be so tired by the time I chanted half a round, and then one round was so difficult, and between one round of mala, I used to drink water thrice. Okay, now it seems so easy. I can do 16 rounds, and all this seems to be so natural. It's not that I have to put any extra efforts at all. So I take a youth batch at 6 o'clock in the morning. Before that, 3:30, I get up. I finish chanting. I offer, milk for Krishna, have a cup of milk, and then finish youth batch. After that, organize breakfast at home, have breakfast. Also today, I couldn't have breakfast, but I'm just telling. And do this. Why? For me, 10 minutes if I speak, I used to get so exhausted. Now I realize what gives me that full energy is this Maha Mantra. And I'm not like a veteran. So imagine if we all become veterans, how much of energy and whatever our yoga specialist was saying, how yoga is inbuilt and how it's taking care of our health so quickly, right? So that is the advantage of course, the motive of doing Maha Mantra is different to reach, ultimate destination. But the byproduct of that is also very different, right? So we may do something with a different idea. Example, you're very hungry, you have a glass of milk, right? The milk is going to quench your thirst and your hunger, right? That's your main, I won't say it's the main thing. But does that end there? No. It supplies calcium for your body. It takes care of your tissues in the brain and it will have so many advantages. So can you tell, no, I drank milk. So milk, I at least only take care of my hunger. I don't need any bumper offers from me. No, right? It is going to do good to you. Same way, Maha Mantra has a purpose. But that does not stop the secondary purposes of Maha Mantra trying to take care of our body also. So this is what he said. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. When I'm nervous, I find chanting very calming. I don't get shaken up at little things. Hare Krishna.
Very important, right? And this is from
Mrs. Sally Raleigh, merchandiser.
You can imagine the kind of stress she will have.
Chanting Hare Krishna and reading authorized books on Krishna consciousness has brought me great peace. Ramesh Lal, Toronto Health Spa proprietor.
The person who's an expert in spa normally talk about relaxation and what he's saying. So you can also chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare.
Yes, thank you so much. I want everyone to chant. So thank you so much. So can you see this? Such a beautiful session, right? So if you have any questions, please go ahead and shoot. Any questions? Chat is open, and or you can raise your hand. Kirti, your hand is up for question. Please go ahead and ask, Ma. Can you please unmute Kirti and probably keep...
Yes, I can. Yes. So I have two questions. One is you were talking about how to do the japa by beads. You know, you said something that we should not touch Krishna bead, etc. So I have not heard of that before. So can you repeat that? And second is the ladder you were showing. So you said Karma Yoga and then Bhakti Yoga is at the top. So but yesterday we did Karma Yoga towards through Krishna conscious, right? That we can keep doing our Karma Yoga, but along with that we can bring Krishna to, we can dedicate everything to Krishna. So Krishna conscious Karma Yoga, is it not same as Bhakti Yoga?
It is. You got the point. Thank you so much. Your question has answered this. Let me first answer your second question and then I'll go to the first. So yes. So basically, I was stating, I started off with Karma Yoga because, you know, you need to know everything, right? But Karma Yoga is the starting of the ladder. Yeah. Okay. So because currently, most of us are in Karma Kanda. We don't think of Krishna only. You agree? We only think of. So we are actually, what are we practicing? You're absolutely right. Krishna consciousness is not just Karma Yoga. We are actually practicing Bhakti Yoga. But if someone comes to you or me and tell, practice Bhakti Yoga, will you understand? Definitely, I'll not understand. Right? So to understand Bhakti, you have to understand these stages. So what you're telling is absolutely right. And now to say that, now what are you talking now and what am I trying to tell you? Both of us are getting knowledge, right? We are having jnana. So jnana is also built in. So that is what I'm saying. Bhakti Yoga is the highest. Karma Yoga is the starting. But when you have Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and the Ashtanga Yoga comes inside that. It's inbuilt. We start there because we will be at a Karma Kanta. I don't know about you, but talk. I probably, when I'm thinking about a child earlier, I used to pray God. I'm not saying that, but then I never will even think, okay, I can offer food. I will offer only on an occasion, right? Like, you know, like a Krishna Jayanti or something. But otherwise, the milk morning as a habit we'll keep before Krishna and take. But you don't feel that he's drinking or anything. We just do it as a routine, right? You go, get up, keep it and come. And then, you know, you will, what I will say, the bonding, you like God, but then you don't have that relationship, which is right? Talking about me. So I'm sure most of can relate it. Some may not, maybe on a different platform, but I'm just giving an example. So what happens? That is one. But today, when you start doing consciously, then you start enjoying that. You understand what I'm telling. So when you're seeing your kid, you'll feel, okay, Krishna is there. He'll take care of me to take care of the kid. And this kid is not my kid also. It's also Krishna's kid. So he's also got a plan. He'll take care. That will give you a lot of peace. Takes time to understand, but I'm just telling. So what am I telling you? We were originally in Karma Kanda and we are elevating to Karma Yoga. We are actually practicing Bhakti. But if anyone tells us practice Bhakti, we will not understand. So Krishna is taking you through the stages to make you understand Bhakti is what you're coming. But you will not understand that you're practicing Bhakti unless you experience all this over a time. You were smart to find early, but not every one of us find it at the first times. Very well you related. Hare Krishna. And your first question.
Krishna Mataji.
Second question, if so, I will go to your first question. Okay, so first question is chanting the beads, which I told you to Hare Krishna. I'm not saying you should not touch the bead. You don't use this finger generally. That is one thing, right? Because it's a pointing finger. But you touch the bead, you tell Hare Krishna, you know, but when the Krishna main thing comes, the Krishna bead is coming, you don't cross over the bead. You will turn it, which I showed yesterday. I'm not having the mala right now, but I can share about that video again. You don't cross the bead, you just turn it around and continue. Hare Krishna.
So do we count mala, the Krishna bead or not in 108 count?
It is one. No, it is not there. You don't count.
It is not there. Okay. So I turn around, but I was not sure if it is part of that 108 or not. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Next person you can unmute. And meanwhile, Banu has typed something, devotee. So I'll go ahead. Ma'am, can you please tell us again when to chant Ma Mantra and when not to chant? No, you can chant Mahamantra anytime, any day, throughout. There is no negative rule. You can chant anytime. Even if there is death, even when you're in your menstrual cycle, you can go ahead and chant. There is absolutely no restriction for the Mahamantra. Even if the child is born on that day, even if the dead body is there in the house, you can chant. I hope I've made it clear. Hare Krishna. In the hospital, in the washroom also, you can chant. Next is, can you please unmute Alanksha?
Yeah, Mataji, my question is like, it's not related to Mala or something, but I will really like if you can share the video of Mala once more, because yesterday I had a weak connection and I could not hear it clearly.
No problem. I will circulate that in the group. I'll have
Yeah,
it sent.
and one more thing, Mataji, the notes which you're sending us on WhatsApp,
Yes.
okay, the paraphrase, is it all right? I mean, I hope it's not a problem. And if you can mail it to us, because what happens at times, the files don't open at times on my side as being a network connection. Files don't open. So will it be possible for me to get it on the mail?
I'm so sorry, ma'am. We are not authorized as yet to send mail. That is the reason, because it's a WhatsApp group and we share. What happens is each of them will have, some of them want it in Telegram platform, some want mail. So there are multiple things. In fact, we moved to the Telegram platform because it was easier, because you can scroll back and see what you have missed if you have joined late, right? Because we have many devotees who joined from day 2, day 3. But later we felt that WhatsApp is the most active response and this is taken as a call. But I will take your feedback and I'll inform them. But at the moment, I'm so sorry, we won't be able to accommodate that at this point in time.
Yeah, because what happens is on WhatsApp, sometimes, unknowingly, we sometimes delete the message and, we lose the connection. Like I'm completing my quiz. So like, like my lessons are sometimes, like my one lesson I've missed now, it just got deleted due to some of the reasons. I don't know. It was not intentionally.
No, I
but
understand.
then I'm not.
Understand your intent. The only problem is, we have a huge team, like the number of admins who are helping and the number of group is, is about 25 to 30, which is fine. But then actually, if you take some of the groups, for example, the youth group morning has about 1,000 students. So
Right.
You have to really even create an email group, right? It becomes so difficult. That's why. Hare Krishna.
And once I've finished with this foundation course, will you be immediately starting with the higher course?
Yes.
Or there'll be a gap given?
We will immediately stop. The gap may be maximum 1 or 2 weeks for accommodating the existing.
Okay, so we'll get up on that, right?
You'll get an update. Last 2 days, I will share all the links. I'm so happy that you're showing. So there we will start.
I want to join.
Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, and Ishopanishad, 4 books.
Okay, fine, Mataji.
And it's a 2-hour.
Thank you, Mataji.
Weekend class. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Sorry, I just cut.
It's a weekend class. So
okay.
Mataji, the recording of these lessons are available on YouTube. Can you please get the link for the same? Hare Krishna. I thought, let me just check, because the admins are sharing the recordings actually. It's getting uploaded and I will ask them to reshare the link.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. And in fact, she's here. Devotee Chandini, my admin Chandini is there. She should be able to. They are getting up. All this is done. So let me just remind them again if it is missed out. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
May take a little bit of time. You'll have to bear with me.
No issues. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So if there are no more sessions, no more questions, sure. Yeah, sorry. Akanksha. You can.
Yes, Akanksha.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, sure. You are the one who asked. Okay. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So I think if there are no more questions, we can finish the session, right? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama.
Rama Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna. And let's meet again.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.